I like you standing up here. God, you do look like John Wayne. Thanks today. How you do?
You look like Humphrey Bogart.
Thank you. So has anybody else got anything they'd like to say about Merv? 75 years old, you got to have something to say. And here you're legal to say anything. Spike, you got to have something to say. God, I knew you would.
Actually, I don't have stories nearly as entertaining as Coe's. And yeah, maybe not as much roasting either. I mean, I probably got to call Merv my best friend in the world. I mean, it's he and I go back to 5 or 6 years old.
Yep.
That's a lot of years.
Yeah, that's a lot of years.
Let's stop right there. The first time that I met him,
Hold the spike. Give him the mic.
it was a I can do it. Parental party that we all went to, and he said, "Guess what? There's some bees nests under that," and he had an eye that was about that big, okay, from being stung. So we go out and we throw these dirt clods under this ramp to this bulb shed storage that were yellow jackets' nest, and guess who got stung right between the eyes? And boom, boom, both of them were swollen. So that was my first experience with spiders.
Actually, you're taking my stories away before I even got started here, but that's okay. But that's how far we go back.
I didn't know you could remember that.
Yeah, your memory's better than mine. Let's just leave it at that. But and you know, I can remember through I don't know how many wives for each of us and how many girlfriends for each of us, and you know, a lot of social whatever, and including in the last 20 plus years now with Shar, and my wife died 5 years ago, and Shar and Merv and Jeannie and I did a lot of travels and a lot of places, and most of the things that Merv has done that you all are familiar with, I've done the same kind of stuff, so I can't say too much, but maybe not quite as outspoken. It was interesting tonight was one of those that classic Merv, and that Shar, as usual, had done a good job of figuring out things ahead of time and so on. Talked to me the other day, and she'd sent the card out that you all got and so on, but about this and it being a shh, and so on. So Shar and I called and said we'd be here, and Shar said, well, why don't you come up and spend the night, and we can use the story that we're going out to dinner. So that was good, and so we did that. Well, we wanted to go to Tacoma for dinner. I guess Merv asked Shar, well, what do we got to go to Tacoma for? We can go to the falls. So anyway, that sounds like we won, but anyway, so we leave the place. Mervin, Terry's driving up front with Shar. Merv and I are in the back seat. Come by, turn in here. What are we stopping here for? Shar said, I want to get a bottle of wine. Why don't you bring some wine from home? And so, driving in. Who are all these? I can't remember what the hell you call them now. Anyway, cars that were parked here. I figured that, you know, business must be really good at the winery. But finally we get out of the car, we start walking in here. What the hell's Pete's truck doing here? So, anyway, only one thing that Merv is not good at that I know of. That's choosing hunting guides. Now, he and I have hunted together for 100 years now, I think. And a lot of it, we've been our own guides. But here about, not quite 20 years ago, but over 15, 16 or 17 or 18, Merv comes up with this guy in Idaho that, you know, sounded like a good deal. So he booked with this guide, and the guy sent pictures of, you know, elk and the country and so on. And this was a part up in northern Idaho where the fires had gone through there.
Clearwater.
And so, at any rate, when a fire goes through, like it did in Yellowstone 15 years ago and so on, that's really great for elk habitat, because then the young green stuff grows up and the critters come in there and it's good hunting and so on. The only problem is, this guy's pictures are like 20 years old. By the time we get there, it's a bloody jungle. So after a week in there, and this was a do-it-yourself deal. They gave you tents, and
That leaked.
that leaked. Yeah, they had plastic tarps over the tops of the tents to keep the tents from leaking too much. They had some of these plastic boxes with kind of a folding type lid. The goddamn dishes hadn't been washed from the year before, if they did. They had a crosscut saw. There was no wood anywhere within a half a mile because this place had been camped in so many times. And so they gave us a saw and no file to sharpen it with, but anyway, a crosscut saw that was so dull that you couldn't even cut wood if you wanted to. So anyway, after a few days in there, we wanted to get out. Then they didn't have any horses available to get us out earlier than we'd originally been planned, so we ended up walking out 18 miles from that hunting camp. Then the next one he lined up was in Wyoming. And I probably don't even want to...
Why do I get the blame for this shit?
Because these were your guides that you chose that I went along with, because you were my friend and I loved you and I wanted to support you. Plus I thought it was going to be great hunting, but it wasn't. So anyway, other than that, Merv's in my time. I wish I had a whole bunch of other folks as close as him. But if anybody's got any good stories, other good stories, we'd like to hear them.
That's good, Spike. I never really knew you did that kind of stuff. You did it to me all your life. Oh, you did. I mean, since I was younger, I was 5 years younger. I was like a kid.
Mellow and mild. That was
Mellow and mild, my ass.
Oh,